His name was Robert. He was 82 years old, Army veteran. He paid Medicare for 59 years, every single paycheck from 1965 until the day he retired. At 2:14 in the morning on October 17th, 2024, he woke up with crushing chest pain. His wife called 911. This is the exact recording of what happened next. The dispatcher answered on the second ring. Robert's wife was crying, trying to stay calm, trying to explain. Her husband couldn't breathe. He was clutching his chest. He was sweating through his shirt. She knew what a heart attack looked like. She'd seen it before with her own father. She needed an ambulance right now. The dispatcher asked for their address. Then he asked for insurance information. Robert's wife gave him the policy number. There was a pause. The dispatcher said he needed to verify coverage. She could hear him typing. She could hear her husband gasping in the background. Then the dispatcher came back on the line. "Sir, are you on Medicare Advantage?" Robert was gasping for air. "Yes, UnitedHealthcare." The dispatcher paused again. Then he said the words that would kill Robert. "Okay, sir, they're telling us the ambulance ride and a visit are not pre-authorized. They recommend you drive yourself or take an Uber." Robert's wife started screaming. "He's having a heart attack. Send the ambulance." The dispatcher's voice didn't change. He'd said these words before. "Ma'am, I'm sorry." They said it's not an emergency until they approve it. They hung up on 911. Robert tried to stand up. He made it 3 steps down the hallway before his legs gave out. He fell hard. His wife heard the sound from the bedroom where she was still holding the phone. She found him on the floor, unconscious, barely breathing. She was 79 years old and weighed 112 pounds. She dragged her husband across the carpet, down the front steps, across the driveway to their car. It took her 20 minutes. She opened the passenger door and tried to lift him in. She couldn't. A neighbor heard her screaming and came over. Together, they got Robert into the seat. His head rolled back. His breathing was shallow. His lips were turning blue. By the time she got him to the emergency room, he was already gone. Official time of death was 6:07 in the morning. 4 hours after Medicare Advantage told a dying man to go home. 4 hours after a private insurance company decided that saving $14,000 was worth more than saving Robert's life. Robert served 2 tours in Vietnam. He came home with shrapnel in his leg and nightmares that never stopped. He worked as a postal carrier for 38 years. He walked his route every day, rain or shine, until his knees finally gave out and he had to retire. He coached Little League for 2 decades. He volunteered at the VA hospital every Sunday. He had 4 children, 9 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. He paid his taxes. He paid his insurance premiums. He did everything this country ever asked him to do. And when he needed help, when he was dying on his hallway floor, the system he trusted told him to take an Uber. The timeline is brutal. 2:14 in the morning, the chest pain begins. 2:17, his wife calls 911. 2:21, UnitedHealthcare denies the ambulance. 2:27, Robert collapses trying to walk to the car. 2:41, his wife begins driving him to the hospital herself. 3:08, she pulls over on the highway because he stops breathing. 3:12, she's performing CPR on the side of the road in the dark. Cars flying past her at 70 miles an hour. Her hands on her husband's chest, counting compressions, begging him to stay with her. 3:27, a Good Samaritan stops and calls 911 again. 3:31, the second dispatcher gets on the phone and starts screaming at the UnitedHealthcare representative. 3:35, UnitedHealthcare finally authorizes the ambulance. Too late. 6:07 in the morning, Robert is pronounced dead in the emergency room parking lot. The death certificate lists the cause of death as massive myocardial infarction. Under contributing factors, the medical examiner wrote, Delayed medical care due to insurance denial. That phrase is there in black ink on an official document. Delayed medical care due to insurance denial. A doctor looked at this case and wrote down that the insurance company contributed to this man's death. It's right there. It's documented. And nothing happened. No investigation. No consequences. No charges. UnitedHealthcare released a statement saying they regret the unfortunate outcome and that they are reviewing their authorization protocols. The same statement they release every time this happens. This is not a mistake. This is not a glitch in the system. This is not an isolated incident or a communication error. This is Medicare Advantage working exactly as intended. They saved $14,000 on an ambulance ride and emergency room visit. Robert paid with his life. The cost-benefit analysis worked out perfectly for their quarterly earnings report. One less expensive patient to manage. One less claim to process. One less elderly person requiring ongoing cardiac care. The system worked exactly the way it was designed to work. Robert's wife still gets the monthly statements. They still take the premium out of his Social Security check, even though he's been dead for 14 months. She's called 6 times to cancel the policy. Each time they tell her they need additional documentation. Each time they transfer her to a different department. Each time she has to explain that her husband is dead. Each time she has to relive that night. She finally gave up. She just lets them take the money. It's easier than fighting. His children wanted to sue. They consulted with 3 different lawyers. All 3 said the same thing. Medicare Advantage plans have legal protections that make them almost impossible to sue for wrongful death. The arbitration clauses in the contracts mean any dispute goes to a private arbitrator, not a jury. The damage caps mean even if they win, the payout is limited. The legal fees would cost more than any potential settlement. So there's no accountability. There's no justice. There's just Robert in the ground and UnitedHealthcare still operating, still denying claims, still telling people to take an Uber when they're having a heart attack. If this happened to your father, your husband, your grandfather, your brother, someone you love, you need to know you're not alone. This is happening every single day. People are dying while insurance companies decide whether saving their life is cost-effective. People are being told to wait, to get additional documentation, to try over-the-counter options first, to consider whether the treatment is really necessary. And while they wait, while they file appeals, while they sit on hold listening to Muzak, they're dying. These stories need to be told. Every single one. Every denied ambulance. Every delayed authorization. Every person who died waiting for approval. Every family that went bankrupt trying to pay out of pocket. Every doctor who had to watch their patients suffer because some administrator in a call center said no. Send these stories forward. Share them. Make them impossible to ignore. Complete anonymity guaranteed. No names unless you want them used. No faces. No identifying details. Just the truth of what happened. This will keep happening until enough people understand what's being done. Until enough people realize that Medicare Advantage is not Medicare. It's private insurance companies taking government money and denying care to maximize profit. Until enough people demand actual accountability. Until the cost of letting people die becomes higher than the cost of treating them. Right now, while you read this, someone else is calling 911. Someone else is being told their emergency isn't covered. Someone else is collapsing in their hallway. Someone else is performing CPR on the side of the highway. Someone else is arriving at the hospital too late. This is the reality of Medicare denied. This is what happens when healthcare becomes a profit center. This is Robert's story. Right now, as you watch this, another veteran is being told to take an Uber while he dies. Subscribe, because tomorrow it could be your father, and you'll wish you had known.